All right, welcome to the nightly vid. We're recording it before the market closed, so don't think much is going to change here. SPY is pretty much stuck in the morning range for now. But what we saw today was gap up sell SPY. So the first thing we wanted to be doing was short it if we could off the 60s. And we said, be patient today. It makes more sense to trade 30-60s and let them open because we got a lot of stuff to do. So SPY was a 2260 down, Rev Strat. So where's that going? That's going to go down here. 504.96 magnitude. And once it's done that, these two bars are outside of this stuff. Now it's closer to a 2 down. So the next thing we can look for is the tight stop guys. Anyone that was long into yesterday, their stops are up at these lows. These are the tight stop guys. So we take those guys out, then they reverse back up with 30s to cover here, 30-minute hammer to cover. And you'll also see that the 30 to trigger the 60 this morning, but we mentioned the 60s. So 30 to hammer to cover, and then maybe the country western for those that do that. And you got it for, about an hour. And then on the 15s, we saw some simultaneous 15s down in here, failing to negate the day. So now they're stuck inside doing nothing. But you'll see the same 60 break occurred on the Qs. So if we go in here, you'll see this shooter 2 2 2, 2 down, 2 up, 2 down right here. Where's the magnitude of that? It's right here. And that's where we said cover. And then when this went 2 down in green, we mentioned cover, 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 right? And still stuck inside to that. So they're still 2 up to start the week. And you're still an inside bar, which is why you get this choppy action. Normally the mornings are good and the afternoons are worse with inside stuff, unless you go inside day. Normally you get better afternoons. But as far as the inside weeks go, Thursday, Friday, normally Friday you'll have a better move for the back ender type of thing. So still holding out for that. But IDBM went inside today with Dow Jones. And with the gap sell, what we said was if those break 2 down, then we have it confirmed that things are reversing and we should get the 3s. Since they were too strong to do so, now we just have to see where do the inside bars go. They're either going to confirm tomorrow 2 up by going inside and up and getting everything 2s to the upside again, or go inside down and try and reverse 2 up, 2 down tomorrow for some compound 3s on SPY and Qs. Specifically, we mentioned yesterday that the chips are going to have earnings such as like TXN, and I'm not sure if there's any other ones in there. We didn't have it up here, but ADI and a lot of other chips are gapping with that earnings. So what we did today was everyone was long into the chips here. So when they gap up, where is the losing position, or where would we imagine things can go? Well, if they bought yesterday and they get what they want when it gaps up, if you're trading below the open, that would be a short. We mentioned this morning, again, wait for the 30-60s. There was some action in here like Rev Strat 5, which stops you out. And there's also some like 3-minute stuff in here at this Good Morning Tribe, but just didn't get much there. And then once we waited, we got the 60 simultaneous break with SPY and Qs here. And that's an open position still if you're willing to hold it for the 2-2 tomorrow. It's much closer to doing that. And that would set up a shooter week into next week. So you can do that, but just be aware you're inside. You still have the month in force in this stuff. There was some 2-2s in here as well to try and do it again. Specifically, we mentioned the 30s in here. And you can see the 2-2 30s in there. Did bring it back down into the 3, just not weak enough to take the lows out. So they get stuck inside again. And NVIDIA was a good example of the gap sell today, and specifically waiting for evidence to come out. So if you didn't take the 62.2s, NVIDIA 30 minutes into the 60 breaks a Rev Strat 30. And this is something we pointed out. We said, here's the pivot machine gun. There's your Rev Strat 30 below this. So we should take these guys out to 820. Now you have a $6 winning position. You can either add to it, partial it, cover it, do whatever you want. And since it's a 2 going 3 day, we were looking for that. And we mentioned cover right here around 800, 0.05 or 0.5, I believe, right at yesterday's lows here. 802, somewhere around there. But if we mark it out, we'll have the exact level. So 802.64, my bad memory. But then there's the 30 in here to try that again. So there was some extra stuff in the afternoon, just not everything did that. So we'll count it out as a losing position. And while that was occurring, what we also noticed was our utilities and staples. Did we know about that stuff? We did. So the XLPs were a gap down on the day. Gap down, yeah, these guys in here from Monday, Tuesday, they do have problems. But when it's on the strat attack list, what you want to be aware of is they bought it Monday, Tuesday. So they're serious buyers. And we picked this up last week, right? So the fact that they're up in here, when this gap's down, yeah, you stop people out. But we'd want to see them back up because you still have this weakened force above 74.48, and that never went out of force. You can see they attempted, but did not happen. And they tapped the weekly open in here, and that failed to negate. So they stopped some guys out, and then 32.2s here. That's a good buy, and boom, goodbye, right? You go to the 60s. You also had the 122 RevStrat 60s in here while the market was puking. And what that told us is that the market is more likely to find a bottom. Maybe the SMHs don't because that's where the earnings were bad, but the market will because they're willing to rotate into the defensive names. So this all day, all good. And what we said this morning is we want to get on, make the position, pretty much just hold off the 60s. And that's what we got. XLP, boom. We saw in the 60s, Pepsi, a nice 3-2 here at 173, up into 178. We saw Coca-Cola gap down 3-260, but we also mentioned this. We had the 15 hammer in here. There's also the 30 hammer in here. So the 15 creates the 30, which creates the 60, 3 different ways in. And there's also more than that. So you got Philip Morris, 2-230s this morning. You also had the 60s, and that's closing up at the highs from the strat attack list. So this is how you get in. They triangle out, stopping the tight stop guys out, and then right here, there's your 2-2, and it's still good. Not a single reversal. MDLZ was another one. You do get slight profit taken at the close, but here's your 2-260, and we also mentioned the 2-230 in here, which did have a little corrective activity in there, but never reversed. And we had a lot of evidence this stuff was happening. And then the 2-2-2 in here, which we missed as far as an ad goes. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they buy. So did what you were looking for. There's more than just that. KHC, boom, gap down buy. That was a pretty good one. You had Keurig Dr. Pepper, which is another beverage company, 2-230 60s, gap down buy. That was a good one too. CAG, I'm not sure. Yeah, CAG, another gap down buy. So all the staples we've been talking about, Kellogg's, gap down buy, RevStrat, which we did point out on the 60-30s, and it just grinds up into the close. So lots of good stuff in there, and we'd like to see if they can keep doing that the rest of the week. The other one we noticed was the Utes, XLU. So they gap down, and 2-230 up here, inside 30 up to trigger 60 here. So either of those, as well as the 15-2-2 in here. So that told you to go for Duck and SO. And Duck, you'll see there's your 2-2-15, red to green. There's your 2-2 hammer 30. And then if you missed all that, we mentioned the 60s here, 3-2-2, and then all day, there's your 3. SO, we'll see here, and just beautiful. There's your 2-2-60. All day, right? There's your 3. So when you're getting into the strat attack list, what you're looking for is exactly this. Stop some people out and then back up. And in this case, we had a lot of gap down buys today, which is just perfect. So we were able to trade it short in the morning on the chips and long in the utilities XLPs. And then what we also did was in the financials. XLF. So XLF had a gap down this morning. It went green, but it was 2 down 60. So we went for the things like JPM specifically. So they took out the tight stop guys and then 2 go 360. We mentioned use a 3-minute, 5-minute, 1-minute, anything you can get into that in the morning. And it did that. 2's to the upside, 2 up in red, but still 2 up, 1, and then outside day. And then after that happened, we don't know. The other thing that happened after that is the 60 flip occurred here at 9:30 and changed what we know because first 60 is coupled to the day. Day and 60 open are the same. Second 60 gives you additional information, and they were selling on the second 60. So you mentioned taking profit there. And what we then saw in that latter part of the day was this 3-1-1. So we do nothing. It pokes down and then green. So that's a 2 going 3. And we mentioned, I did not mention to take this one, but I mentioned the 2 going 3 for the 3-3-30 here. And then we mentioned the 3-2-30 to get the RevStrat going, as well as the 3-2-60s to get that stuff going up there as well. So that's going good until the close. And we'd love to see a 3-2 tomorrow and really speed up that aggregation to the upside for the weekly mag. Citigroup will be another one. There was some 30s at the open, which could have been losing trades or break-even trades. We mentioned in here, they had the inside 30 against where you close, and you can see that's right above the 30 break. So that could have been a winner or a loser depending on what you did and your specific options, if you're trading weeklies or not. Bank of America was another 2-2-30, goes into yesterday's highs, and then on the flip, take your profit because they went red, giving us additional information. And there's a 15 in here to trigger that. So you got the 15 into the 30, and then the 15 against here to get out. Wells Fargo had some 60s later in the day as well. So the 1-2-2 in here makes high day, and that was all we got. So small gain or break even. And then Bank of America 60s later in the day as well. You had the 122 rev strat in here, which is still technically good inside bar, but we'll want to see what they do tomorrow with that. And myself, I have some lottos in there. I wouldn't take any big positions up at new highs like this, but a few lottos with the high a day strike work for like 20 cents. So if Bank of America gets going maybe into like 39 or something towards the end of the week, they could go maybe double. But outside of that, as far as what we're looking for tomorrow, first of all, Bank of America, for those of you on the stream right now, mind that flip on the 60 because that's closer to a 2 down. So we might have to just cover or partial that stuff, get out of it. But as far as tomorrow goes, SMH, want to know if that's a 2-2 down or not. And they're closing out at the lows. So any 60 guys from the morning that just took it and left, they get to stay in. And then the 2-2s tomorrow would confirm that to give you the shooter week. And that's where we see the most evidence on the downside. There was something we pointed out today, which is industrials. Wasn't something we spent much time trading, but it went 2-2 and then reversed, but still inside weeks. So for most things, we're going to have a lot of inside weeks besides staples and utilities. And just because of that, we don't really need to do anything in there on Thursday, Friday. They might be volatile jumping around, but if they're still inside going into Wednesday afternoon or Wednesday close, we shouldn't be trading that. We should be trading where the 2s are. So there's not many daily actionable signals with all the 3s we got today, but if you stick to utilities, staples, and then some of the inside days in banks, such as Citigroup, inside day, Goldman Sachs, inside day, it's up at exhaustion risk, but could still keep going, and then potential 222 in Wells Fargo daily for tomorrow. We should be all good, and we'll do some scans later tonight. I might post them on my Twitter or something, but I've been at the screens all day, and I still have to do more work on the screens. So that's going to be it for me, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your trading week, and I'll see you guys in the next nightly vid.